What cycling moments would the most memorable for you to comment on? So you've been commenting 16 Grand Tours over the last decade.
Yeah.
I want to know some of the most iconic moments that you've had a microphone in your face and you've been going, oh my God. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, some of these, I've been commentating on some of these, it's me there on the ground, actually on location in front of the camera. So they're not all commentary. The first one was the first day at the tour.
Can I, as a non-TV person, that's the same thing to me. Commentating and being there with a microphone.
All right, okay, yeah, okay. Fair enough.
I'm sure it's a different job to you, but to me it's the same thing.
Yeah. For me, commentary is when you're in the comm booth going, and then being on location is you're kind of presenting as well. So,
got you.
Yeah. So the first stage we ever did with the Tour de France, it finished in Harrogate, and that's when Cav fell off his bike at the finishing line and broke his collarbone. And stage one, and that happened right in front of me. And I saw what happened, and I saw him go like that, and I saw the way that he held his body. Went, oh no, oh mate.
Yeah, that's the first ever stage that you were part of.
Yeah.
And it was the 2014 Tour de France that started or finished in Harrogate.
Yeah. When it started in Yorkshire. And it was, it was gutting, and to see, could see his jowls just go down. I knew exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's broken his collarbone. And, starting in the UK and, for a British rider, for that to happen to him, it's just terrible.
That's probably just the UK part of that must have been so significant. And yet he
so that's stage one that he got the injury. So can you imagine if he would have gone on to win a bunch of stages in 2014, he would have beaten Merckx's record by now, and not just equal it. So yeah, what could have happened, eh? Yeah,
well,
but that was gutting.
Can.
Yeah.
Still can, somehow.
Yeah, but that was totally gutting. Just and the way that he held it. Oh, mate.
What other ones have you got for us then?
Paris-Nice. Geraint Thomas won the 2016 Paris-Nice. And that's the first time we ever realised that he was a GC rider. Because he was a classics guy, wasn't he? And then he won Paris-Nice. And I thought, that's the first time I thought, oh my God, he's a bit good, this guy. He can actually do something. Because when we started broadcasting from the tour, he was the poster boy, but he was domestique.
Yeah.
We weren't expecting him to win anything, but he was Geraint Thomas, the best rider in Wales, and he happens to be a Grand Tour rider, and he's domestique, but we didn't care. And then I was commentating on Paris-Nice, and I was there in the booth when he won the damn thing. I was just like, oh, okay, right. This is getting very interesting. So it was quite a nice surprise for us all.
And then a couple of years later, 2018.
Well, 2017, Dusseldorf, stage one of the tour. He won the time trial. First Welshman ever to wear a yellow jersey. This is pretty good.
I remember that really well as well, because that was again one of those ones where you start sending it to people back home, being like, "What is going on?"
Because me and Rodri, the other presenter, were just looking at each other. Did that just happen? All of a sudden, the poster boy, he's wearing the yellow jersey, like 3 years into our contract with the Tour de France. Brilliant. It's really good for us.
Well, yeah, it's perfect, isn't it? It just worked absolutely perfectly in terms of that. Presumably at that point, you had no expectation of what was going to happen the following year.
No. Well, obviously in that year, he crashed out, unfortunately. But yeah, so in 2018, he goes and wins the damn thing. Welsh guy winning the Tour de France.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, then we went ballistic. We were live again from the Champs-Élysées, and we got a message through our in-ear systems going, we're extending the show by 1 hour. We're like, while we're on air, I go, oh God. Improvise for an hour. We got Geraint's dad in to do an interview in Welsh. We got Brailsford in to do an interview in Welsh.
In Welsh?
Yeah. Dave Brailsford lived in Dainiolen in North Wales.
Oh,
As a
really?
kid, so he speaks Welsh. Sarah, Geraint's wife, in Welsh. We got Sarah's dad. We got everybody who could speak Welsh on the. There were so many Welsh flags on the Champs Elysees that day. Oh yeah, you know the flag that he had.
Yeah.
That's my flag. So, in the time trial the previous day, Brailsford ran through the zone technique, the media bit backstage at the tour, and he saw us. He said, we've always got the Welsh flag on our gazebo outside the truck or whatever. So he ran, he said, can I have this? And I always buy the Welsh flag, the tradition that I buy it. And he ripped it down and gave it to Geraint. So at the end of the time trial that day, that's Geraint wearing my flag around his shoulders. And that's him on the Champs Elysees with the flag around his shoulders on the podium as well. My line was, I said, oh, this is really going to get him back on. This is really going to tug at the heartstrings. And my line was, the dragon is around his shoulders, but it's also around his heart. And then I started bloody crying. As I said that, a tear came down my cheek. And I totally choked up on live telly. It's like... Yeah, so and apparently got a lot of people back home, but I wasn't supposed to get myself.
Yeah.
But I made myself emotional on live telly, so that was.
I would imagine doing that job, especially as a Welshman in Welsh language with a Welsh winner. There was just I bet that little bubble that you were in was absolutely buzzing.
Well, it was because we're such a small nation. It's stuff like that doesn't happen to us. We might win at the rugby once in a while, the Grand Slam or something like that. But with football or any other big sports, it doesn't really happen to us. This is the equivalent of winning the World Cup. Winning the Tour de France is one of the biggest sports events of the year. It's one of the most watched sports events. It's up there with the Olympics and whatever. Have you?
I actually looked it up the other day. It's allegedly, I'm saying allegedly because it's based on the ASO's figures, the second biggest sporting event in the world after the Football World Cup.
Yeah.
So annually, it is, I think, that the Super Bowl is the only equivalent to the Tour de France on an annual basis.
Yeah, and for something like that to happen to such a small nation as Wales, a nation of 3 million people, which doesn't really win that much because it's such a small nation, it was insane and just blew our tiny little minds.
We've done a very typically Welsh thing here, and we've actually just talked about Wales for like the last 20 minutes.
Sorry.
But now wrapping up our section dedicated to Wales, the last one on your list was from the 2021 Tour de France and all things Wout van Aert.
Oh God, yeah, the Ventoux. When he won the Ventoux, it was just like, and it wasn't just one Ventoux; they climbed it twice.
Yeah,
and so in that tour, he'd won the Queen stage, he won the time trial, and he won the sprint stage at the Champs Elysees, which is incredible. It's one of those things you never ever see. That guy's so talented. He's a better mountain domestiques than a lot of the main climbers and the rest of the peloton. He's just insane. It's got this power as well. It's not talent; it's just power. He's just that strong.
Well, he's a big boy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's big.
He is one of the few cyclists that is so dominant at what he does that he doesn't even have like a glimpse of arrogance about him. And I think that's actually quite rare because you get a lot of, like Sagan. Like I love Sagan, but he's pulling wheelies up mountains and things, and he's like messing about and things, and there's kind of a bit like he knows he knew he was good and he let everyone know that, which is fine because that was his thing and he was good. But like Wout van Aert, he just always seems he just wants to get to business. He doesn't want to faff about. He's like, right, let's just go and win some stuff.
Well, yeah, there's been a lot of talk about him doing GC at the Giro. He said, I don't want to do it because I don't want to come fifth or whatever. But, if he was like 10 kilos lighter than what he was and a little bit shorter, that guy will be winning Grand Tours. Yeah. But then again, winning something like the the Ventoux stage in 2021, that is a one-off. He would have been knackered the next day. He wouldn't have been able to do that again on the next stage, because he would have left everything on that road. And but I think if he was 10 kilos lighter and a little bit shorter, then he'd be up there with Vingegaard and the rest of those guys.
We were talking about the 2022 Paris-Roubaix and all of the excellent things that came from that.
Well, 2022 Paris-Roubaix, that's when they were racing from the off, basically. And, that first 100-odd kilometres without the cobbles, where they just put along, but there was echelons. And it just kicked off.
Yeah.
And it was like the craziest one-day race I've ever seen from beginning to end. It was just non-stop action. Yeah, so it was probably one of for me, the best one-day race I've ever seen. But the year before as well, one of the terrible weather, the first Paris-Roubaix Femme, or the women's Paris-Roubaix, whatever they call it, with Lizzie Deignan. That was just a masterclass in cycling. The way that she went off on her own, rode off solo in that horrible weather, in all the mud, and the way that she kept on correcting, her back wheel would slip out, she'd correct it, and it's just a masterclass in cycling.
Proper skill, isn't it?
That was one of the best.
That's not blagging.
No, that's one of the best cycling I've ever seen. For one person showing me how to ride a bike, that's how you do it. Lizzie Deignan, 2021 Paris-Roubaix.
I remember me and Emily watching that, and we were just losing it.
Yeah.
Which is why when we went to the charity event, the Garmin charity event a couple of weeks ago, I was trying to convince Emily to bid an extortionate amount of money on Lizzie Dagnam's signed jersey.
Oh God. How much did it go for?
$2,500. But she agreed to ride with the person that won.
Oh.
I'm just hoping one day she'll agree to come on our podcast.
She should do.
Instead.
Yeah, she's a bit of a legend.
She's training for the Olympics now.
Yeah, after 2 babies. Incredible. What a sports person she is.
Agreed.
What an amazing athlete. To do that. It's just wild.
Have you ridden cobbles?
Yeah, I hate it.
Same.
I absolutely hate it. I went, we had a day off in Brussels, so I took the train out to Oudenaarde, and I did a loop. It's called the Orange Loop. That took in Koppenberg, Oude Quaimont, and a bunch of other famous bits from Flanders. And I was like, this is horrible. I never, ever want to do it again. So I've never done it again. I hate it. It's the most difficult thing. Doing Koppenberg, right? It's the most difficult thing I've ever done on a bike. And I've done all the big climbs in the Alps, like all of them. But doing that little 1K climb is the most difficult thing I've ever done in my entire life. Because it was in October, it was all greasy, just like, and I filmed myself doing it as well, and it's very, very funny. I was a mess. Never, ever, ever want to do cobbles ever again. And I have the utmost respect to all those guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen who do that type of racing. It's, having done it for an afternoon, I never ever want to do it again.
And this is why pro cyclists quit riding bikes.
Yes, yeah, exactly.